Whether worshipping Buddha in temples or making offerings at home, I believe most of us have heard similar Buddhist audio recordings. So who composed these music, and what is its historical lineage? Today, I'll clarify Buddhist music through a video. As is widely known, Buddhism originated in India. At that time, Buddhism had only recently emerged, and chanting sutras was a highly controversial practice. Many early scriptures explicitly restricted the use of music. For instance, the 20th volume of the Pali Vinaya Pitaka explicitly forbids monks from dancing, singing, or playing musical instruments. Similarly, the 5th collection of the Anguttara Nikaya, volume 209, details the 5 dangers of singing hymns. In essence, the Buddha feared monks might become absorbed in melodic rhythms, distracting them from the essence of practice. Thus, monks were forbidden from using exaggerated melodies in recitation, permitted only to chant with a steady, unadorned, medium voice to maintain focus. However, as Buddhism evolved, circumstances changed. The rise of Mahayana Buddhism shifted the entire trajectory. Monks increasingly recognized the importance of music in propagating the Dharma. Both the Lotus Sutra and the Vimalakirti Sutra described using music to praise and make offerings to the Buddha. The chapter on expedient means in the Lotus Sutra provides the most compelling example. Here, the meaning is that making offerings to the Buddha through the beautiful music produced by various instruments can lead to the attainment of Buddhahood. We can clearly sense the difference between this and the strict requirements outlined in Pali Vinaya Pitaka. Gradually, different textual forms, such as verses, chants, and mantras, paired with traditional instruments like drums, cymbals, and couch shells, formed the most fundamental basis of Indian Buddhist music. This ingenious fusion of faith and art would spread across the world through various channels. The rise of the Silk Road inevitably facilitated the dissemination of Buddhist teachings, gradually reaching China. Numerous artifacts related to Buddhist music have been unearthed in the western regions. At the heart of the Northern Silk Road, Cave 38 in the Kazil Cave of Kucha is known as the Musician's Cave for its depictions of diverse instruments. At Magao Caves, the most renowned Buddhist crossroads, numerous caves from the Northern Liang and Northern Wei dynasty feature vivid scenes of heavenly musicians playing Western region instruments. Construction of these caves commenced quite early, around the 4th to 5th century CEs. Yet, their mature craftsmanship suggests oral traditions may have originated even earlier. This legacy continued unabated. Magao Caves also yielded abundant Tang Dynasty musical scores, demonstrating Buddhism's enduring musical influence. After Buddhism entered China, its music underwent a process of synesthesia. The music transmitted from Dunhuang retained Western region Hu style melodies that clash with the structure of the Chinese language. Hui Jiao, a Buddhist historian of the Southern Liang dynasty, highlighted this issue in his biographies of eminent monks, noting the problem of complex sounds clashing with urgent chants and short melodies clashing with lengthy lyrics. However, a genius from the Three Kingdoms period resolved this issue. He was none other than the well-known Cao Zhi. According to Buddhist historical records, while passing through Yushan in Shandong, Cao Zhi heard the exquisite and elegant celestial sounds of Brahma heavens. Yet, he desired this music to be integrated into Chinese culture, so he invented Yushan Fan or Yushan Bai. Yushan Bai was a musical form that integrated Buddhist content into Han Chinese rhythmic structures. Though its original melodies are now lost to history, its influence remains profound. It stands as a progenitor of all Buddhist chanting, the foundational template for classical Buddhist music that shaped subsequent liturgical singing. To illustrate their evolution, I've selected 2 highly representative pieces for comparison. Following Cao Zhi, Buddhist music flourished increasingly. Emperor Wu of Liang during the Northern and Southern dynasties, a fervent Buddhist devotee, promoted imperial Buddhist orchestras, hosted numerous Buddhist ceremonies, and systematized Buddhist music. Naturally, as an imperial endeavor, Buddhist music became more courtly and refined. By the Sui and Tang dynasty, Buddhist music reached its zenith. Emperor Taizong of Tang upgraded Emperor Wen of Sui's 9-part music system to a 10-part music system, formally integrating Buddhist melodies into court life. Beyond royal circles, Buddhist music gradually permeated everyday existence. At temple fairs and theatrical venues, people gather not only to burn incense and worship Buddha, but increasingly to listen to secular storytelling, akin to modern rap, but more boisterous and imbued with the vibrancy of everyday life. These secular sermons transform profound Buddhist scriptures into accessible narrative ballads, fully integrating Buddhist art of folk tradition and embedding it deeply in popular culture. The final phase of Buddhist music development in China occurred during the Song Dynasty and beyond. By this time, secular sermons gradually evolved into baojuan. No longer confined to temple fairs and spoken performance, baojuan increasingly utilizes folk melodies to sing Buddhist tales. The Ming Emperor Zhudi even issued the songs of names of all Buddhas, world honored ones, Tathagatas, Bodhisattvas, and Venerables, instructing monks to adopt popular local musical modes to advance the secularization and standardization of Buddhist music. Within temples, the daily practice routines of major sects largely solidified, giving rise to the widely circulated 10 directions melody and regionally distinctive local melodies. The uniform, resonant chanting we hear today, often accompanied by wooden fish drums, traces its origin to this era. Another pivotal branch of Chinese Buddhism music emerged within the Tibetan music. Introduced to the Tibetan Empire between the 7th and 9th century, Buddhism music fused with indigenous Bon rituals practices, giving rise to the first Buddhist liturgical music. Although Tibetan music became highly fragmented with the emergence of various sects, much like in the Han China, Tibetan Buddhist music gradually developed into a systematic and structured tradition. The treatise on music by Sadhu Pandita stands as a foundational text for the systematic study of musical theory. The Cham ritual dance, another form of folk sacrificial dance, also gained popularity. By the 18th to 20th century, the Dodir Orchestra of Labrang Monastery emerged. This not only signified the maturation of the Tibetan music, but also represented the cultural fusion of Han and Tibetan music traditions. Today, Labrang Monastery's Buddhist music, along with numerous other Tibetan Buddhist musical traditions, has been inscribed on the UNESCO Intangible Cultural Heritage list and is gradually gaining global recognition. Modern developments have not only transformed daily life, but also profoundly reshaped Buddhist music. The earliest modern development traces back to the post-World War II era. The war's aftermath and the rise of the counterculture drew many Western youths toward the mysterious East, in search of spiritual liberation. The legendary Beatles traveled to India in the late 1960s for meditation retreats, incorporating local Indian instruments into their music. Tibetan Buddhism also gained global prominence through recordings and performance. Taiwan's Foguangshan Buddhist Chanting Ensemble pioneered professional stage choreography and world tours, radically transforming traditional chanting into a highly visual performing art. When it comes to new forms of Buddhist music, it's not just the presentation that has changed. The musical characteristics themselves have undergone bold diffusion. Electronic, pop, and rock music have all subversively overtuned the traditional image of Buddhist chanting. A Tibetan Buddhist monk from Nepal, incorporates modern elements like guitar and keyboard into songs such as Heart Sutra, blending Tibetan music themes and a tranquil core with contemporary sounds. It sounds something like this. This represents the perfect fusion of Buddhist chanting and New Age music, embodying the ongoing evolution of Buddhist musical expression. From India's steady chanting to the exotic flair of the Western regions, from the solemn expression of imperial courts to the lively narratives of folk traditions, from the pure chants of Tibet to the glittering stages of the world, every step of Buddhist music's journey is direct evidence of the historical river, cultural fusion, and changing eras, a path we've traveled. We should strive to preserve. Yet, it also presents bold opportunities for creation. Therefore, I will continue to update videos on Buddhist music composition. Thank you for watching.